Recorded Books presents Tony Hillerman, A Life, by James Mcgrath Morris. Narrated by me, George Guidall. From Tony Hillerman, The Ghost Way. Everything is connected. Cause and effect is the universal rule. Nothing happens without motive or without effect. The wing of the corn beetle affects the direction of the wind, the way the sand drifts, the way the light reflects into the eye of man, beholding his reality. All is part of totality, and in this totality man finds his hojon, his way of walking in harmony, with beauty all around him. Prologue. In late August 1945, two trucks stirred up plumes of dust on a dirt road in western New Mexico as they neared the delivery point for the oil drilling equipment they carried. It had been a long trip from their starting point in Oklahoma City to this barren spot on the edge of the Navajo Nation. For one of the two drivers, still nursing wounds from combat in the war that had just ended, the long trek had been particularly arduous. The vision in his left eye was limited. The landmine damage to his left leg still gave him a pronounced limp, and haunting memories of war remained fresh in his mind. On this late afternoon, as he drove the last miles of the journey, a group of Navajos, dressed in ceremonial clothes, emerged on horseback from the side of the road in front of him, crossed over, and disappeared among the piñons and junipers. A few miles later, upon reaching the delivery site, he asked the white rancher what the Navajos he saw had been doing, especially dressed in that manner. The riders, said the man, were headed to an enemy way, a Navajo ceremony to cleanse two returning Marines of the evil to which they had been exposed while fighting in the Pacific. Would they let him attend? The driver asked. Yes, said the man, they would likely permit it if he didn't disturb the ceremony with drink or rude behavior. That night, 20-year-old Tony Hillerman parked his truck and limped over to the campfires where the Navajos were gathered. I still remember, he wrote years later, the bonfires lining that packed earth dance ground, the dust raised by shuffling feet, the flickering yellow firelight, the perfume of the burning piñon and juniper, the sparks blown by the night breeze, the four drummers, the smell of roasted mutton, and two Marines, exhausted but happy to be cured of war and home again, surrounded by their friendly people. Years would pass before Hillerman returned. When he did, however, he would be the one to create unforgettable memories for millions of readers around the globe with novels that captured Navajo culture and the people's spiritual devotion to achieving hojon, a harmonious existence with one's surroundings and place in life. In doing so, Hillerman would travel a path of healing that began that night in the summer of 1945. He, like the two Marines, would find in the Navajo world a salve for the horrors of combat. He would come, as the Navajos might say, to walk in beauty. Chapter 1. Sacred Heart. As they did every week, the few dozen members of Sacred Heart's Hilltop Church gathered for Mass on June 7, 1925. Breezes usually caressed the crest of the 1,060-foot-high church hill, making the spot one of the few places in central Oklahoma where relief could be found from the summer's heat. On this particular Sunday morning, August, Gus, and Lucy Hillerman came to present their 11-day-old son to the parish. Standing by the baptismal font, Father William Hospital, a Basque monk, held the child in his arms with family members by his side. The parishioners watched from the wooden pews in the luminescent church with white tin-clad walls and ceilings on which, on most days, danced specks of colored light from the stained-glass windows. Father Hospital anointed the baby with oil, asked those who had gathered to instruct the infant in the practices of the Catholic faith, and poured holy water over his head. Afterwards, Father Hospital recorded in a leather-bound book that Anthony Grove Hillerman, born May 27, 1925, had received his baptism. His first name was a family namesake. August's brother Henry, Anthony Hillerman, had died 13 years earlier at age 40. The baby's middle name was the surname of his mother's family. His
Sample complete. Ready to continue?